Caitlin Clark will not be playing in Europe, according to an insider. The WNBA offseason will not see Caitlin Clark travel to Europe to play basketball. Since the conclusion of her WNBA season, rumors have been circulating on social media regarding Clark joining with European leagues and clubs. Her influence and the fact that people love seeing her play are major factors in this. The fans will be disappointed to learn that Clark will not be playing basketball during the offseason. After Game 2 of the Fever vs Sun first-round playoff series, Clark told Ryan Ruocco that she almost definitely will not be playing basketball this offseason. Clark made this remark in September, just following the Suns' elimination of the Fever. More than a month has passed after the same incident, and it seems that she still feels the same way about her remarks. Caitlin Clark seems to have kept her promise to avoid traveling abroad and to play golf during the offseason. She has been seen playing golf with former LPGA golfer Martha Foyer-Falconer and her Fever teammate Lexi Hull. In November, Clark will participate in an LPGA Pro-Am tournament that golfing icon Annika Sorenstam will host. She has made a few public appearances in addition to playing golf. She had been seen at a Pacers preseason game, courtside. In November, Clark will participate in an LPGA Pro-Am tournament that golfing icon Annika Sorenstam will host. She has made a few public appearances in addition to playing golf. She had been seen at a Pacers preseason game, courtside. Part of her DNA, Caitlin Clark's golf coach pinpoints what separates WNBA star from the rest. The number 1 pick in the 2024 WNBA draft has become the face of women's basketball after a record-breaking Rookie of the Year campaign. Clark finished the season by setting a string of records with the Indiana Fever, including the most points and assists by a rookie in WNBA history and the most points by a point guard in a season. She also became the first player in WNBA history with more than 20 points, 15 assists, and 5 rebounds in a game. The 22-year-old has also signed an historic endorsement deal with Nike, worth $28 million over 8 years, which is the largest shoe deal ever for a women's basketball player. Despite all her personal achievements, the Fever were knocked out of the WNBA playoffs in the first round, meaning Clark had a bit more time to fill than she would have hoped at the end of the season. While a host of the WNBA's other huge names are preparing for a brand new and lucrative new league, Clark has been trying her hand at another sport. Clark joked that she would spend the offseason becoming a professional golfer, and she already has her first event coming up. The basketball star will play alongside Nelly Korda, who is currently ranked number 1 in the world, and golf icon Annika Sorenstam at the Annika in Florida. Clark is slated to play in the Pro-Am and appear as a panelist at the Women's Leadership Summit on the eve of the event. She has been working with Martha Foyer-Falconer, a former pro on the LPGA Tour, who has already seen some improvement in Clark's game. "Within the time we were working, we saw some drastic changes," Foyer-Falconer told Golfweek. "It's also part of her DNA because she's going to do things well. She wants to be as good as she can in everything she touches." It will come as little shock that Clark has fully committed to improving her golf game in the offseason, and she is even being touted as a natural talent on the green. "Very driven and passionate. It's fun to work with her. Some of this stuff you can't teach people," Foyer-Falconer added. "They just either have it or they don't." While Clark has been taking some time away from basketball, the Fever announced on Sunday that they are parting ways with head coach Christy Sides. Sides went 33-47 in her 2 seasons with the team, and went 20-20 this season as she steered Indiana to the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. Kelly Krauskopf, president of basketball operations, said the decision wasn't easy, but that it was imperative that we remain bold and assertive in the pursuit of our goals, which includes maximizing our talent and bringing another WNBA championship back to Indiana. Clark is also be a target for the league, which will launch in January in Miami, and has already lured the likes of Angel Reese, Kelsey Plum and Brianna Stewart to the league. It has been reported by Front Office Sports that one more push to tempt Clark could feature a Lionel Messi-like deal, as they have just 3 slots to fill. Headline: Coach Christy Sides reacts to her firing by the Indiana Fever after Caitlin Clark's breakout season. In a surprising turn of events, the Indiana Fever has decided to part ways with professional coach Christy Sides following Caitlin Clark's phenomenal breakout season. The decision has shocked many fans and pundits who praised Sides for her coaching abilities and the team's progress. Under Sides' guidance, the Indiana Fever had shown signs of improvement throughout the season, with Caitlin Clark emerging as a rising star in the WNBA. The young guard dazzled fans and rival teams with her extraordinary skills, leading the league in scoring, assists, and three-point shooting. However, despite the team's progress and Clark's exceptional performances, the Indiana Fever organization felt it was necessary to make a coaching change. Sides on X reacted to her firing by tweeting, "Leave it better than you found it." Sides went 33-47 in her 2 seasons with the squad, including going 20-20 this season. The Fever made the playoffs as the 6th seed and were swept in the first round by the Connecticut Sun. Indiana is the 6th team to make a coaching change this offseason, joining Dallas, Atlanta, Chicago, Washington, and Los Angeles. All of the coaches let go had 3 years or less experience. Whoever takes over the Fever will have a strong young core to work with, led by Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. The pair have won the last 2 WNBA Rookie of the Year awards. "We are incredibly thankful to Coach Sides for embracing the challenge of leading us through an integral transition period over the last 2 seasons, while also positioning us well for future growth," Fever President of Basketball Operations Kelly Krauskopf said. While decisions like these are never easy, it is also imperative that we remain bold and assertive in the pursuit of our goals, which includes maximizing our talent and bringing another WNBA championship back to Indiana. Coach Sides was an incredible representative of the Fever and our community, and we wish her nothing but success in the future. Sides was a longtime assistant in the league, spending time with Chicago, 2011-16, the Fever 2017-19, and Atlanta 2022 before getting the head coaching job. She replaced Marianne Stanley and her interim successor, Carlos Knox, who coached in the 2022 season. Sides had 2 years left on her contract. While the end of Sides' tenure with the Indiana Fever marks a sudden and unexpected departure, the team remains optimistic about the future. Changes are on the horizon, and the organization is determined to find the right person to take the reins and guide them to new heights. Flip to the next page for Coach Christy Sides' reaction to her firing.